Well, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We're here to announce one more major milestone on Plattsburgh's road to becoming the rail manufacturing capital of North America. I'm Chris Ortloff. I represent this area in the State Assembly, and it's my privilege today to introduce Governor Pataki, to make an announcement, and to make introductions of other people who are instrumental, important, and vital to Plattsburgh's future. It's my privilege to introduce one of our longtime friends. Governor Pataki is no stranger to Clinton County. He's no stranger to the people of the North Country, and he's no stranger to our values, our political philosophy, and our hopes and our visions for the future. It's my privilege to introduce to you the 53rd Governor of the State of New York, George Pataki.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris, and thank you for that kind introduction. And Chris and I got elected the same year to the New York State Assembly, and we came to office together, and we've worked together very closely since then. And Chris, thank you for your friendship and your cooperation as we've moved forward. It's great to be back in Plattsburgh. You know, I've been here time and again, and it's a wonderful place. And you look around today on a day like this, and you just know this is a wonderful place to live. It's a wonderful place to raise a family and to work. It's got great community spirit and is an utterly beautiful location. But you have to have a job. You can't live in a community like this if you don't have work. And back in 1994, the people of Plattsburgh were dealt a terrible blow when the precipitous and wrong decision was made to close the air base. A lot of people wondered what could be done, what could turn things around, and we knew that it wasn't just in Plattsburgh, but across this state we had to have a different attitude and a different approach, an aggressive approach to making the state competitive so that we could attract jobs and attract investment and attract companies and not just play defense and prevent losing bases or companies, but play offense and go out and get them to come and relocate to Plattsburgh and across the state. And we're here today with the very good news that Westinghouse Air Brake, Wabco, is locating here at PARC and will be bringing up to 150 excellent jobs for the manufacturing of support, air conditioning and other door equipment for the mass transit industry. And we are just delighted that this great company has made the decision that the future is right here in Plattsburgh. Now, I remember talking to my predecessor and being told manufacturing is a thing of the past in New York State. Well, we know manufacturing is going to succeed very well right here in Plattsburgh and all across this state. And this is a symbol of that confidence in the future. We have the best workforce in America. We have wonderful communities with a great quality of life. All we needed was the economic climate where we could turn things around. And whether it's Bombardier expanding and adding hundreds and hundreds of jobs here, or an IBM or Mercedes saying they're going to build their world headquarters in New York State, we've seen that turnaround. And we are very hopeful that this is just one of many additional companies that will be working not just to supply Bombardier, which is obviously an important component here, but to make this a center for manufacturing and industry for the transit industry that can go around the country and around North America. And we're here today to talk about Wabco, which is a more than $500 million corporation, soon to become a $1 billion corporation. But when a company like Westinghouse, after taking a look, says Plattsburgh is the place to be where they can compete successfully, it sends a message around the country and around the world to other companies that this is the place that they should look at, and this is the place where they can invest and have confidence in the future as well. And I have to thank everyone involved, and in particular our Empire State Development team, because I said we're no longer playing defense, we're playing offense. We're going around the country and around the world and reaching out and saying, come to New York. And Ray Gillen and Mike Tobin have done an outstanding job in making this happen, and we thank you. Now, in the last 3 years, every year, New York State, and I'm saying this, Dave, for your benefit, because if you're looking at other expansions, think Plattsburgh too. In the last 3 years, New York State has cut taxes every year by more than any other state. In fact, in the last 2 years, we've cut them by more than the other 49 states combined. New York State is leading the country in reducing our rate of crime. New York State is leading the country now in reducing the workers' compensation rates. New York State is leading the country in reducing welfare dependency. In fact, this year, the welfare rolls in New York State are down from January of 1995 by over 409,000 people. Think about it. And it's because there is a growing awareness that this is again the place of the future. This is again the place where you can invest. This is again the place where in the 21st century you can look back and say, yes, it was a tough blow when the Plattsburgh Air Base closed, but it was an opportunity. And it was an opportunity that the people of Plattsburgh and the state government seized. And it was a time when we saw the resurgence of Plattsburgh in the North Country. So I'm delighted with this confidence of Westinghouse. It's only appropriate, Dave. George Westinghouse was born in New York. He then moved to Pennsylvania, which was unfortunate, and Westinghouse became a major success story there. But now, a long time later, Westinghouse is coming back to New York in a big way, and I believe with confidence in the future.
I'm not quite as tall. Thank you very much, Governor Pataki. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. I'm delighted to be here today representing Wabco and Vapor Corporation. I am the president of Vapor Corporation, and this business will come under my wings, and I'm really excited about the prospect of opening up a facility here in Plattsburgh. This facility will be our U.S. Center of Excellence for a newly acquired business of air conditioning equipment for mass transit vehicles. But in addition to that, we will be manufacturing door systems in this facility. We have some specific contracts that we're already targeted to do here. We are making this significant investment in Plattsburgh because after a great deal of study and a lot of persuasive arm twisting by particularly Ray Gillen, because we knew that this location was endowed with a very good labor force that's reputed to have an excellent labor force here, and of course there's a lot of facilities here to look at and to utilize. But we also recognize that that it's not only this location, but this location is in New York State, the new business-friendly state of New York, which incidentally is both the largest single market for subway, buses, and commuter rail cars in the world. And in addition to that, it's the single largest it's a home for the single largest concentration of bus and rail car manufacturers in the United States. And I believe that's the goal of the plan of New York State, is to grow that market. Governor Pataki, I want to let you know that we intend to use this facility to service a broad range of customers, not just New York State. And in fact, some of the contracts that we picked up when we acquired the air conditioning business, there were 3 major contracts. One of them is for the state of New York, the Long Island Railroad, but 2 others are, one is for Pennsylvania and one is in New Jersey. And we're bidding on several contracts around the United States, and if we're successful, all of these contracts are going to be built here in Plattsburgh. However, the goal of serving a broad range of customers is not to indicate that would not welcome the continued support of the Economic Development Corporation in helping us maintain the business with New York State. Like William Tell, we're keeping a key eye on New York, which in our business is clearly the Big Apple. So again, my thanks to all the New York State team who encouraged and facilitated our move here. We hope that we will be a productive, participating, and profitable member of the Plattsburgh community and indeed the state of New York. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. And David said that this is going to be the United States Center of Excellence for the air conditioning line. And you have picked the right spot because you do have the workforce and the people that they will have the best facility in America. And you are now, Wabco is now a home team when it comes to New York. So whether it's New York or California or Illinois or anywhere, when you're out there competing, we'll be there with you helping because that means jobs right here in Plattsburgh. And we want to see more jobs from here in Plattsburgh. One other boring statistic. In 1994, New York State wasn't doing so well. We had 73 new or expanded corporate ownings. Last year we had 511, 7 times as many, 5th highest in America, because people now understand that this is, as David indicated, a business-friendly state where you can create jobs and compete successfully. It's been a team effort, and I certainly have to again thank Chris Ortloff, who's been one of my partners there since we both got elected and served in the Assembly together. But one of the key players on that team also is from Plattsburgh. And he has been your senator for a long time, but more than that, he is the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. And that is not just a title. That is a very, very important decision. And as we've had the battles over the past 3 years to reduce taxes and reform workers' compensation and restructure the government so it's more effective, every step of the way, he has been there fighting not just for Plattsburgh, but fighting for the future of the North Country and this state. He's a great senator, a great friend, and one of the key members of this partnership that is leading New York back to greatness, your Senator Ron Stafford. Senator.
Thank you, Governor. David, formally welcome. Friends all, this is a great day. Traveling with the Governor in upstate today, it's just tremendous to be with a person who understands the aims, the aspirations, the concerns, understands all of New York State. There's no question it's a very complex state. It's a large state. But I can't emphasize enough, and Governor, these statistics aren't boring, and you should be very proud of them. The first 3 or 4 years, or not the first, but the 3 or 4 years before the governor took office, we lost over 500,000 jobs in this state. 500,000. And we're above over 200,000 increase in the last 2 to 3 years. Think of it. And here's an example. And as the governor mentioned, this is an opportunity. We have the site. A tremendous job is being done. And with the governor's support, the department and all, I can only say this, and I think this has to be emphasized. We have a tremendous area, and we have a labor force as good, if not better, than any place in the United States of America. And when people come here, they learn that. There's a work ethic, they're well educated, they're concerned, they give tremendously to their employer, and that's what's paying off. Thank you, Governor, for being here. Thank all of you, and this is just another step toward making sure that our resurgence is permanent. Thank you.
Exactly right, and it is going to be permanent. We're going to work to make sure that that continues. Obviously, this has also been a very strong cooperative effort with PARC. PARC is doing an excellent job of taking this magnificent facility and marketing it in a way that's going to help the economy and help the community. And it's a very difficult job, but obviously a very important job. And Mark Barry, the president, has been doing an outstanding job. Mark, it's great to have you here. Thank you.
Well, I get the easiest job of all. I get to thank all of our distinguished guests for coming here. And I'm sure I speak for everybody here, Governor, when I say we are thrilled to have you. We are thrilled to have your team with you, including Ron Stafford and Chris Ortloff, and of course you too, David. This is a tremendous day for PARC. It's a tremendous day for the North Country. We believe now that we are on our way to over 1/3 of a million square feet leased up and on our way past the 300 job mark ourselves, that the resurgence, the redevelopment of Plattsburgh base is well underway, and I, for one, say it's about time. Let me very quickly add that I would conclude my remarks today by reminding all of you that, as has been mentioned earlier, Wabco is much, much more than simply a supplier to my friends at Bombardier. They are a truly large multinational company with over 1,000 employees all over the world. And although they have only a 2-year contract with Bombardier, and we're going to work on that, David, they have signed a 5-year lease here at PARC with an option for 5 years more. They're going to be taking on about 1.5 acres of building, and they've got an option for almost another acre of building. That's a lot of space. In fact, less than 1/3 of their activities here will be related to Bombardier, which means 2/3 of their activities are all over the world. And what that means is that, not to minimize the relationship with Bombardier, because they're our friends too, it means that they'll be doing business here for a long time. This is the kind of company that we want here at PARC, a company that's here to stay. So thank you again, David. Thank you again, Governor. We appreciate all of your help, all of your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you all. I'd like to recognize Don Garrett and Andy Abdullah, Chairman of the County Legislature, and the Supervisor of the Town of Plattsburgh, who are here. And Governor, David, my father always used to say, on days like this, when you've reached a milestone, you've climbed a new plateau, or whatever you want to call it, it's a good idea to take just a minute, if you can, to reflect on where you've come from, where you're going, and what it's all about. And I want to do that just very briefly before I open it up for questions. In any human endeavor that seeks a high and noble purpose, and certainly creating jobs qualifies, there are always those who say it can't be done, and there are those who say you won't do it. In other words, there are always the naysayers and the skeptics. Now, why do I point that out? Just to emphasize that that's the fact of life. They will always say those things, and those thoughts will always occur. But men and women of goodwill, high aspirations, diligent, and persevering in their character will also always win. And so in the end, it doesn't matter what the naysayers or the doubts that you had. As we stand at this milestone, let's remember the victory that today represents did not come easily. And tomorrow's victories will not either. But we're here, and if we keep going in the direction we're going with the leadership and the teamwork that we put together, we will succeed. And now, on that note, I know the Governor is open to questions, and we'll ask the media to proceed.
Thank you, Chris. If you have any tough questions, Senator Stafford will be delighted to answer. Yeah, you can tell this isn't Albany. You know, you're far too polite here.
In your late class that address today, I guess there was an announcement of $5 million for the Bob and Lou's run.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also, I understand, and correct me please, you made a commitment to help them find the remaining of the $20 million.
We're gonna work with them. The goal here is not simply for the state to put up $5 million. The goal is to do what we've looked to do from the first day I took office, and that is make Orta a world-class center. Whether it's been the snowmaking investment at Gore, or the new lift at Gore and at Whiteface that are going in this year, or the $5 million for the new world-class luge and bobsled run, we're going to look to work with our delegation in Washington, with the private sector, and work with the Orta officials to try to make sure that the full $19.4 million, I believe it is raised so that we can have that facility up and running.
Do you foresee another Olympics?
I sure do. I don't want to predict that. But there's no reason why not. It is a wonderful place. The Adirondacks are spectacular, and I think we're going to have the world-class facilities. We have a great track record, and there's no reason why the Olympics couldn't come here again.
Governor, there are a number of critics of art in the community, and I was wondering how you feel they are doing, and if you think there might be a different or better way.
Well, I think PARC is doing fine. You know, obviously, it is a very competitive and difficult world, and we are working in Albany to give them the resources. I think, Ron, this year's budget had $2.5 million, Mark, in funding to help PARC with the steps it has to take. But it's a very complex problem. Dealing with the federal government makes dealing with the state government seem easy, and there's still an awful lot of change and support that's needed. But we're confident that when you see companies like Wabco with a global reputation say this is a place where we can compete successfully, that it sends the right message and that others are going to get that message. And I am very confident, more than very confident, I am sure we're going to be hearing more and more announcements like this right here at the airbase. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your all being here.